This week is Earth Week, and as you may have seen on Good Morning America or World News Tonight, ABC is airing a series of reports titled The Power of Water. The series focuses on the importance of water both in America and around the world. Coverage has highlighted the availability of clean water, cloud seeding, the crisis on the Colorado River, and other important issues. News Channel 13's Bart Bedsel has covered a number of these topics in southern Colorado. And tonight, he continues our coverage from yet another area of southern Colorado dealing with serious water challenges.
The reason the Colorado River is in such bad shape is a mega drought that began just over 20 years ago. But the Colorado isn't the only major river threatened in our region. The Rio Grande runs right through the San Luis Valley west of Walsenburg and has made this area second only to Idaho in potato production. Unfortunately, due to the Rio Grande's decline, farmers there are facing some tough decisions in order to ensure that at least some of them will be able to stay in business.
When I was younger growing up, water was never an issue. In fact, in this area here, there was too much water. The water would be like a foot deep. And sometimes farmers had to wait they couldn't get in the field because it was so soggy. They'd have to wait till people started irrigating to lower the water level a little bit so they could farm.
But potato farmer Asier Artichavarria says those days,
the water was never a concern,
are over. Today,
we're just drier now.
He is fighting to keep his farm afloat, which includes a storage building capable of holding 16 million pounds of his primary crop. The San Luis Valley only receives about 7 inches of rain a year, so growers rely on water either directly from the Rio Grande River or from wells that pump it from the underground aquifer that the river is supposed to recharge. But over the last 20 years, even though the amount of farming hasn't really changed, the aquifer has dropped to a dangerous level, as shown in this graph, because the river can no longer keep up. It's not a fun situation that we're in.
No, it's not.
Craig Cotton is the Division III engineer for the state of Colorado, which oversees the maintenance and distribution of both river water and groundwater. The state was recently forced to tell farmers here to come up with a plan to bring the aquifer back, or else all access to the aquifer will be cut off.
If we reach 2031 and the aquifer is not back up to that level where it's supposed to be, there will be action taken and the wells will have to be shut off.
Shutting off the groundwater wells, taking away this irrigation lifeline, would have a catastrophic impact because agriculture is the backbone of the entire San Luis Valley's economy.
It would be insane. It would be a disaster. Everybody that works here I don't know what they would do. I mean, it'd be devastating.
And while all farmers share the same problem, they have different opinions on how to solve it. Subdistrict 1, which oversees a large portion of the valley, wants to raise the price of groundwater from $150 per acre foot to $500 per acre foot as a way of reducing the overall demand. Can the groundwater farmers afford to pay $500 per acre foot?
No, every well at that price is turned off.
It just becomes unaffordable.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to operate at that level, no.
Asier and his coalition of farmers believe they could retire a few thousand acres, no longer irrigating that land at all, and that would be enough to make the aquifer sustainable again.
Just turning them off so that the burden on the aquifer is reduced.
Which plan do you ultimately end up with?
Good question.
Unfortunately, Cotton believes whatever plan is adopted will be costly for the agricultural community, but it's likely the only way for farmers to keep pace with the dwindling water supply.
They are in a spot where they have to make the decision to, quite honestly, set up a system that will force some people out of business. But I think that's what's got to happen.
Back to that question now of whose plan do you go with. That will be decided by a judge in what's known as water court. There is a hearing scheduled for July on the plan to retire some acreage to reduce the demand. And the other plan to raise the price of groundwater could also be a part of that same court hearing, with a final decision from the judge expected a few months later. Bart Bedsel, KRDO, News Channel 13.